Hi, I'm Kyle Bailey. I own Front Burner Marketing. I'm here to help you and your roofing company rank higher on local maps, rank higher on AI local search, and get more leads. You can do it. I'm going to help you. Now, how we're going to do that today is we're going to look at 5 things you got to stop doing on your local business profile, your Google business profile, and one thing you got to get right. Okay, so stick around to the end because that one thing is the number one ranking factor for local roofing companies. Okay, let's get started. So, the first thing we're going to look at to stop doing is geotagging your photos and thinking that's going to help you. Okay, this is an old myth. Google deprecated this years and years ago, but you still see experts. I'm trying to get my quotes in my here. You still see experts saying that you should geotag your photos. And if you don't know what geotagging is, it's where you go into the photo and you put metadata in the picture. You can open up a photo by clicking info, and you can enter metadata in that. Now there are some websites where that still matters, but on Google Business Profile, it does not matter. Stop doing it. You're wasting your time. Okay. Now, the second thing that we're going to look at is follower count on social media profiles. There was a time this might have mattered, but so many people have bought followers that it doesn't matter anymore. It does not help you whatsoever. So again, you got wasted time and wasted money going into an endeavor that can actually get your social media accounts suspended, and it does not help your GBP. Okay, so that's a second thing. Don't worry about your follower count. Grow your social media accounts naturally and let that take care of itself. That will develop you leads. Now, one thing you can do, going back to the photos, let's go back to our first one. One thing you can do that there is some evidence that it helps is retitle the photo. Okay, this is not metadata, this is the title of the photo. So you take your picture, and then when you save it on your computer, go in there and rename it. So if you're a Dallas roofing company, do Dallas roofing company, Dallas roof replacement experts, something like that. Name the photo that. Or if you're a newer roofing company, you can use that for an opportunity for brand recognition and put your brand name in there. Okay, so if you're ABC Roofing Company in Dallas, you could do ABC Roofing Company, Dallas roof replacement experts, or Dallas hail damage roof replacement experts. Okay, so that there is some evidence that that helps. It's not a game changer. There's not really any silver bullets. The closest thing that might come to that is the one I'm going to talk about at the end. The number one pro ranking factors. These are not negative. They're just a waste of time. That's the negative in it. You've got enough things wasting your time. Stop wasting your time on these things. Okay, now on your social profiles, let's get back to number two. What you should do is spend some time and maybe even invest in a strategist, somebody like me or somebody else. Doesn't have to be me. Get with a strategist so you can boil down your value propositions so that you can then put a plan together to reflect those on your job photos. Okay, so like for instance, if a big negative factor, a fear of a homeowner is that you're going to leave a big mess and their pets or their children or themselves are going to step on nails. They've either experienced that or they've heard stories about it. So what you can show is you can show pictures and videos of how you do a sweep. And a roofing company I know of that does a really good job of this, what they do is they do 2 sweeps. They do the first cleanup sweep, then they do a final sweep, then they do a walkthrough. Then about 5 days later, they come back and do another sweep. And they make sure and let the homeowner know that they did that final sweep. And then a month later, they come back and do it again. Now, the reason for this is if you're an experienced roofer, you know how this. My buddy in Dallas says, "Yeah, the we plant the nails and they grow future nails in the future down the road. So those nails seem to just crop back up down the road." Tell the homeowner this. Tell them, "Hey, if you find anything, please let us know. We're going to come out and do another sweep." But then also let them know I'm going to come back in 5 days, and then I'm going to come back in 30 days. And when you do that and you tell that story in pictures, hey, we're out here in the Briarwood subdivision. I finished up this house at 123 Briarwood a month ago. I'm back here to do the 30-day sweep. And you tell the story, talk about it with a selfie video as you're going around, or film your crew doing it, your badged crew, because you invest in logoed shirts and wrapped vehicles, right? You do that? Yes. Uh, that's branding opportunity and brand mention. Okay. Now, as a quick aside, while we're talking about this, the reason brand mention is so important is historically it's been important in SEO, but now AI is looking for people mentioning your brand, whether it's on Reddit, as on Facebook. These things index on Google, and AI will find these things, these mentions, and that will help you get mentioned on AI search. Okay, so let's go to the third one: participation in AdWords or any other paid Google product. So there's a myth out there that if I pay for ads, my organic listing will show up higher. Okay, so I'll show you this real fast. So you probably know this already, but you've got your local ads up here, and then you've got your sponsored listings above this, right? And then below that, where the sponsor ends, and you see that little line there, because Google doesn't want to make a big deal. They want you to kind of think this is an organic. I'm not going to say they want you to, but I do know this. They don't delineate that really sharply. But below this is the organics. Okay. So there's a myth out there that if you pay for ads, you will get listed in the organics better. And that's not true. And the way you can easily prove this is that this should, if that was true, this company would appear first, probably, in the organic results because they're paying, right? But what you'll see is a kind of an inverse correlation. And there's a lot of reasons for that I'm not going to get into, but most of the time, the person paying for the ad is not going to be in the organics. Now, sometimes that's true because that company in the organics is also buying ads. But that's one of those things we call causation versus correlation. Just because two things are true doesn't mean that one thing caused it, right? So if you do 100 searches, you'll find probably at least 75% the paying ad above is not listed in the organics. Okay, so that is a myth. So we've covered the presence of geotagged photos. Geotagged photos do not make any difference. And for reference, what we're talking about is these photos in the business listing. I don't have any affiliation with Austin Roofing and Handyman. That's just the one I pulled up. So these are business photos, right? And the geotagging in them does not help. Okay. The second thing we talked about is the follower count. So if I go in here and I look at Brown Roofing CT and they've got 1,300 followers, and then I go down here to Bigfoot Roofing, they've got 511. That does not cause Brown Roofing to appear above Bigfoot Roofing in the local search results. Okay, that's number two. Number three is buying ads. So we go back, we talked about this. That does not help you. So let's look at the fourth one, the length of the title tag. Now, this gets a little bit technical, but basically, if I look at roofing company near me and I go down, let's go over here, and I go down into the organic listings, okay, Longhorn Roofing, you see this title tag right here. There's a myth out there that if your title tag is too long, it negatively affects you from an organic standpoint, and that in turn affects you on your GBP, your Google Business Profile. That's not true. That does not affect you, nor does having a longer title tag affect you. The length of the title tag is not a ranking factor. Stop worrying about that. Stop. You want to do that just for organic ranking in itself. Okay. Measure that on Google Search Console, Google Analytics. You can use these tools to see where you rank. Worry about that and nothing else. Don't worry about that relative to your GBP, your Google Business Profile. Okay. The fifth one we're gonna talk about is the keywords and owner responses to reviews. Now, this one's a big one. I see this one a lot, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'm not saying this person does this because I have not seen them do that, but this is what we're talking about. In Google, you should go into your reviews and answer them. Okay, so see this meet expect authors roofing and handyman. That mention of Austin Roofing and Handyman does not have any effect on where they show up in the GBP, okay, in the local map listings. That is not going to affect you or help you in any way, okay? What you want to do is do that because what you're doing is you're talking to two different people. You're talking directly to that homeowner who left the review. They're going to see it, but every new customer who comes in and looks at your GBP, that you're talking through to them. And this is another side comment on this. Do not go off on somebody for leaving a bad review. Don't get in an argument with them there, because again, you're talking to all the people that are going to read that, all your prospects that are thinking about hiring you, that review your listing. They're going to go read your reviews, and what they want to see is that you're level-headed. You're not going to go off on them if that something gets crossways. People understand if you have an occasional bad review. They also understand if a homeowner is kind of going sideways. So the way you want to respond to that is, there's kind of two cases. One is there something bad did happen. Then you want to say, Mr. Homeowner, and hopefully what you did is you did your best to handle it and give them an opportunity for you to resolve it and make things right. Hopefully you did that. If you didn't do that, you need to make that a standard practice, because this is what you want to be able to say. Mr. Smith, I'm so sorry you had that experience. Our guy did leave some shingles over there. We came back out. We double checked everything. We cleaned it up. We did a thorough sweep. I came out myself as the owner, went over everything. I didn't find anything else. I'm going to come back next week again, or I came back in 30 days. Whatever it is, you want to show that you're going over and above to handle it. Your new prospect is going to see that, understand that people make mistakes, and probably even have more kind of bonding with you as a good operator, that you went out there and took care of it. The other kind is someone who didn't do business with you, either mistakenly thought you were the person or maliciously is coming after you. And there's lots of cases of this, fake reviews, things like that. But the way you want to handle that is, hey, Mr. Smith, so sorry you had a bad experience. We've done a complete search of all of our records, and I can't find any record that we ever did work at your house. If you will, please call me, because I want to get this resolved. We take this very seriously. If it does turn out that it was another company, I would ask you politely to take this review down. If it was our company and somehow we didn't find you in our records, let's get this resolved as quickly as possible. That's where you want to be coming from. Again, who are you? You're the kind, level-headed, balanced, calm. You're going to take care of me in my home. You're not going to go off on me if something gets sideways or there's a misunderstanding. That's what you're trying to communicate. So we covered the 5 things to stop doing. Okay. Number 1, geotagging photos. Number 2, follower count on social media profiles. You want that to be organic, and you want to list your value propositions. Participation in AdWords is number 3, or any paid Google product. That does not give you preferential placement on GBP. Okay. Length of title tag. We talked about this a little bit. If you got questions about that, leave them in the comments. That is a little bit more technical, and you might not be aware of where you would correct that on your website. That's a website thing. And then the final one is keywords in the answers to your reviews. That does not help you. Adding roofing company in West Austin, roofing company in Westlake, roofing company in Southlake, adding that to your answer does not improve your reviews. You just want that to be a real natural conversation. You can mention, I will say this, you can mention in your reviews, your review answers, you can say, so glad we were able to help you after that hailstorm, because you're trying to show, what are you trying to show there? Your value proposition is that you're a hail damage expert, right? So don't just say, thank you so much for having us out. Thank you for trusting us with your home. Hope you have a great day. You want to mention the service that you did, but just be aware that will not help you in ranking higher on Google Business Profile. Okay. Now let's get to the good stuff. What is the number one thing you should be doing? What is the number one thing that you should get right to rank your roofing company better on Google Business Profile? I almost call it Google Local because they changed the name so many times. But this is it. This is the number one thing, and this is according to White Spark, the authority on Google ranking factors for local SEO, and now branching into local AI SEO, or whatever they're calling it today. And that is your primary business category. This is the thing you've got to get right. And if you don't have this right, it's kind of like if you're piloting a ship that's going to London, you want to go to London, you get on your ship, you're the captain, and then you put in coordinates for San Francisco. Doesn't matter how good you pilot that ship, you're never getting to the right place. And so here is what we're talking about with primary business categories. The same thing. Your target is wrong. So Google can't rank you for the right thing because you're not targeted correctly. Okay, so let's look at examples of this. Now, when we look at this, we're looking at a remodeling company near me. That's the keyword we're going after. And I want you to take a look at this. General contractor, remodeler. Now this one got it right. Royalty remodeling has it right. Remodel, there's another one now. General contractor. Then contractor, that's even more broad, right? Because that encompasses lots of stuff. But a lot of these guys they are listed as general contractor. Then as you get down in here, handyman. Now, this guy might be a handyman. That might be true. And Google may have so few remodelers listed that they're listing handyman. I don't think that's the case, but it could be. In any case, what you want to do is put a little bit of effort behind finding out what your primary category should be and make sure that is right. You've got to make sure that one's right, okay? So you don't get mistargeted. All right, so that's where we're going to stop today. I'm going to talk more in some future videos about other ranking factors, strong ranking factors you should be using. But I thought I would keep it simple and make things simpler for you so that you can understand things you don't want to waste time and money on. This is a very fluid situation right now because of the advent of AI. AI is like kind of in Star Wars where the Death Star comes around the moon and that the one guy says, "That's no moon." Okay, that's what's happening right now. This is a shadow that's falling across your business and you're out of time. You do not have any more time to wait. You've got to adapt. Not only do you have to adapt, you have to adapt fast. If you have not spent any time on this right now, you're already losing money. You're losing prospects because AI uses a different data set and a different process than has been used in the past. And you could say, well, I'm fine on Google. The problem is that Google has now inculcated is the right word, but that's a fancy word that makes me feel good about myself, makes me feel smarter. So let's think of like a soaked. Google has soaked everything they do in AI now. So every facet of search is now being controlled by AI. And I can tell you right now, that's not going to lessen as we go along. That's not going to be reduced. It's only going to get larger and larger. So again, you don't have any time to waste. You must today start getting on this. Okay. Now we'll help you any way we can, but it's a large project. You've got to restructure some things on your website. You need to add some elements to your website. You need to build out pieces that are probably already there, but you need to build them out differently. Then you've got to get on some other platforms that you're probably not paying attention to because the age of Google only is gone. It's gone. You got to get busy. Okay. I say get busy optimizing or get busy dying. Listen, I hope this helps you. If you got any questions, leave them in the comments. Again, I'm Kyle Bailey with Front Burner Marketing. And this video has been about things you need to stop doing, 5 things you should stop doing for your local business profile, your Google business profile, and the number 1 thing to start doing. Hope you have a great day.